What it do, homies? It's your boy Dave, and I'm back today. We're back here with some more Suicide Boys. This time we're checking out And to Those I Love, thanks for sticking around. Let's go ahead, shut up, turn it up.
Take me home, it's the one place I can rest in peace. Turn off my phone, so many messages I wish I could just delete.
Okay, there's a lot going on here, right here at the beginning. Now, interesting enough, he starts saying, take me home, right? Turn off my phone, messages in peace. Now, because of the reactions that I've done to the Suicide Boys, I have this knack of diving deeper than I probably need to, right? I don't know why. That's just the way that my brain works. But when he's saying take me home, right, I refuse to think of that as face value, right? I don't think he means like actual home. I think the way that he's singing it, it's almost as if he's saying, take me home, but he doesn't know where home is, right? But what we do know is that home is where, he can rest in peace, right? And where he can turn off his messages and everything. But the thing about it is that sometimes the reason why I'm saying that he doesn't know what home is because even in our actual home, we might not be able to attain any of these things, like being able to rest in peace. Or maybe we can't turn off our phone or everything. And the way that he's singing it, especially with that sustain, like take me home, it's almost like a sense that he's longing for it, right? I feel like if it was more of a short duration, then you know exactly what you're looking for. But because it's elongated, it kind of sounds like it's more of a search. Take me home. So, yeah.
Rest in peace. Turn off my phone, so many messages I wish I could just delete.
Also interesting, right? You sit here and you think about it. He said, I wish I could just delete. When it begs the thought, like, why can't you just delete them? They must be of either some importance or those messages have a possible physical, emotional, spiritual issue, but hold on you.
Questioning my existence, questioning my decisions, burning down all the bridges, digging more now I've been there.
I feel like a lot of us, the singing is I don't think I've heard them sing for this long, right? I know I've heard them sing before, but not for this long. It's interesting. Questioning my decisions, right? Questioning my purpose on this earth, right? Am I doing what I was supposed to do? But because I'm lost, I can't find these answers. I don't have time to be dealing with anybody else. I ain't figured out myself. I feel like I'm kind of lost in the weeds. So you didn't start burning bridges as well.
Decisions, burning down all the bridges, digging more now I've been there. Sorry, don't want you to visit, no. One last pick and I'll be gone. Make it count, put the flash on. Never really felt like I belong, so I'll be on my way and I won't be long.
Okay, I like that. Hold on, run it back again. I love that part. No, kind of just, again, that elongated, like you really hear the emotion.
One last pick and I'll be gone. Make it count, put the flash on.
So one last pick, right? Not necessarily like just taking a picture, but almost kind of like one last like big hurrah, right? Because he says put the flash on. Now, obviously, when you're taking a picture and you flash it, it's because you want to illuminate the darkness. You want to preserve the detail. So when he says one last pick, I'm thinking one last big thing, or at least something that he considers big. And it's got to be something big, and it's got to be something where you can't hide the details, right? Because the flash is on.
Never really felt like I belong, so I'll be on my way and I won't be long. I'll be dead by dawn. I'll be dead by dawn. I'll be dead by dawn. I'll be dead by dawn.
See, repetition. Repetition is everything when it comes in music. And in some cases, it could be even more important than the hook, right? Because anytime something is repeated, right, then it's like the third time that you really, really feel it. You're like, okay, this guy's repeating it a whole lot because it's obviously something super important. A lot of us understand this innately as well. I don't know when the last time you guys probably been to like a live concert, like when you're looking at like a guitarist, they're playing a melody or whatnot, or if you listen to jazz like I do, you'll hear them playing a solo. There are times where they might hit a riff over and over and over and over again. And as they continue to hit over it, you start seeing those emotions rise in front of you, and you know, you listening to it, but then all of a sudden you in a up outright roar and everything, like, oh man, like he keeps hitting it over again. The same things apply here, like lyrically, like there's something important here because he keeps saying it. It's very it's very I wouldn't necessarily say like thought provoking, but it's just something that should be paid attention to. But it's almost like you could say that this entire thing, this entire song could be structured around this because of how many times he repeated it, right? And you look at the title, and to those lovely, thanks for sticking around. I'll Be Dead by Dawn, right?
Dawn, I'll be dead by dawn. I'll be dead by dawn.
And it's repeated. The delay.
Scrolling through my texts, shit I left unread. Never trying to deal with it. There's bliss up in my ignorance.
Ignorance and bliss, you right? You ignore it and everything, right? And as soon as you start inviting that stuff into your life, right, then that's when things start getting complicated, right? The interesting thing about there's bliss in my ignorance is that, you know, you choose to ignore it, but sometimes even though you choose to ignore it, it can still cause trouble, right? Obviously, I mean, I know what the meaning is. There's bliss in my ignorance. Like I'm living I'm living high up in the clouds and everything, and that cloud might disappear in like 5 seconds, and I might fall to my death and everything. But if I don't know about it, then I'm not really fearing anything until it actually happens. But there is a part where you are aware of it and you accept it anyways. You know what I mean? So the text that he left unread, I feel like he leaves it unread, but there really isn't any bliss there, right? Because he knows he got to go back to it every now and then. I mean, not every now and then, but he knows he has to go back to it eventually. You know what I mean? So.
X want me to see it. Can't trust her, don't believe her. Reply, turn into a needle, yeah.
Reply, turn into a needle, right? So, you know how you leave things unresolved? But technically, they're not really unresolved. They've resolved them. They resolve themselves in some way, form, or shape. That's powerful.
Don't wanna do it again. Got shit I'm not trying to relive. Get fucked up and I'm sick. These old habits will kill me quick. Quicker than I can blink. Quicker than I could think. Lift me up, don't want sing. Pull me up, I need a drink. What the fuck do I do with sabotage is all I know. Oh, I done dug myself my own grave. Then it's all kill me so. Curtains closed, so fuck I don't see what's the point of going on. No.
Lost all meaning, you know, and he said, you know, tying back to what he was saying at the beginning, right? Questioning my existence, questioning my decisions. Oh, the audio is very interesting, and it actually ties into what I was going to talk about here next. And that's obviously, and I feel like most of you guys probably got this, but the meaning for the AMV at the end, right? Think about all the type of things that they could have shown deteriorating, right? They could have shown plastic or something like that deteriorating or attempting to return to form, but it never did, right? It's kind of just stuck in the same situation that it was when it was first made. That's also something that could be related to what they're talking about in anything. But no, they're talking about fruit. Now, the thing that I gather from here is that fruit, for the most part, is nature, right? It's something that will grow regardless if it has any type of input from mankind, right? But as all things, it definitely deteriorates, right? So, but before it does that, right, we see it in its most ripest form. So you can kind of think of this as, you know, growing from a baby to a man to old age, right? But what's interesting here is that how it's sped up, right? It's sped up to kind of give us that sense of fast deterioration. And they're not showing us, they're not showing it happening from the seed. They're showing it happening from the ripeness, and it's deteriorating very, very quickly, right? Tying it to what they're talking about, right? All the questioning and everything is just causing internal deterioration before nothing is left. So, all right, another long Suicide Boys reaction. That's the end of this video. If you enjoyed the content, leave a like and subscribe. Dave's out.